You're listening to Careers and Cocktails, career talk with a twist, hosted by expert recruiter Renee Frey. Let's get this party started.
Hey party people, welcome to Careers and Cocktails, and today I'm thrilled to have McKenna Pfeiffer, who is the Assistant Director of Career Services at the University of Wisconsin, River Falls. She is one of my favorite people, so
Yay!
Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
We're going to live it up.
We are. So let me give you her quick bio. She provides students and alumni with career counseling. Overall, she helps in choosing a major, determining career options within that major, finding jobs, internships, helping write resumes and cover letters, developing portfolios, preparing for interviews, and helping students get into graduate school. In addition to all of that, she supervises the peer advisory program, recruitment specialist, marketing intern, all while coordinating the office assessment initiatives. What don't you do?
I make dreams come true.
I love
That is what it all boils down to.
It's true. I love it. I love it. So today, McKenna brought all of her wonderful ingredients. Normally, this is a holiday sangria, but today we're making it as a holiday spritzer without the bottle of white wine. So McKenna, take it away.
Okay, so we're going to do 50% white grape juice and then 50% 7-Up.
Awesome.
And then we'll put the fun garnishments on top. My kids call this the fancy holiday juice. And
because you said they love it so much.
Yeah, they have like 16 cups. You know, they drink part of it, and then they're like, I want more. And so then we have like 16
I love it.
half-drunk cups.
So she's pouring it into a beautiful glass pitcher that she brought. We've got some ice in there, and she just mixed the white grape juice, and now she's putting in the 50% 7-Up. Yeah. Awesome.
And then we have some pre-cut Granny Smith apples.
Yum.
That will garnish on top. Some cranberries.
Yum. It's so pretty. I was going to say beautiful, and it was going to merge into pretty.
And then we'll put some rosemary. We'll stir it all up.
That's so perfect for a Christmas holiday drink.
And then I always like to spoon the garnishments on top of the glass.
Okay.
So that every glass looks beautiful as well.
You're a great host.
Wow.
And so then when you're having a gathering, are you preparing this in advance and letting the ingredients kind of soak, or what?
It's in one of those, what do you call those big, like, pitchers that have the spout on them?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's what I usually will put it in, and then people can just kind of self-serve.
But how many, like, are you doing it an hour in advance and letting it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you just let it sit?
Yep. And then I leave the wine out typically so that the kids can have it.
Sure.
And then people just add in the wine to their liking.
Awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool. So you accommodate everyone. You've got the pitcher of the holiday spritzer, and then people can add in the wine and make it a cranberry sangria.
Right.
I love it.
I think I'm going to regret adding the leaves on top, but whatever.
Okay, so tell me, how did you come up with this? Where did you learn about this?
Oh my gosh. So all about going local, right? So shout out to Bella Vines.
Oh, yeah.
I
love
went
them.
there for a tasting, and they had this as an option. And so then for the Bella Vine fans out there, Elementary would be the white wine that would pair really well with this.
Oh, what a great tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're here in River Falls, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I've been there. Beautiful place.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Sitting
I got to get
outside
that
on
gal
the
on
path.
here, actually. Do we need a straw, McKenna? Or do you drink it?
I'm good either way. Let's do straws.
Okay.
Seeing they're handy.
They're handy.
Awesome.
It's like magic.
There you go, ma'am.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's delicious.
Little
Super fun. So, McKenna, I'm an alumni of UW.
The Riv.
The Riv? Is that what they call it now? Oh my gosh, I'm not even hip. I still call it UW.
And then another fun fact, UWRF stands for You Will Remain Forever.
Oh, true.
And so you keep coming back for more.
Right. So we met because you work in the career services, and I went for an event to help, I think, mock interviews.
Yeah, back when you were at Target, right?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, time
and
flies.
I know, it's crazy. So pretend I'm a kindergartner. Explain. Well, you kind of explained when I went through your intro, but what do you do for a living if you're explaining it to a kindergartner?
So I would say that I help people figure out what they want to do when they grow up.
Yeah.
And then I help them also execute that.
Awesome.
So make dreams come true.
What's your favorite part, or what is the specific question that you ask people in order to figure out what direction they should be going on or what careers they should be considering?
So if you could have your dream day, doing whatever you enjoy most, what would that look like?
Oh, I love it.
And so almost like writing their ideal job description.
Yeah.
But through conversation.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, get out. Okay, so in kindergarten, first grade, somewhere in there, we started learning about the Statue of Liberty in school.
Yeah.
And so I became obsessed. As a little kid, I could tell you how big her feet were.
Oh, seriously?
How
They
tall
got into
she was.
You got into detail.
Well, I would check out books, and it became a slight obsession. So then, when people would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I would say the Statue of Liberty, had a Statue of Liberty themed birthday. So now in my adult career, there have been a couple Halloweens back when I started in career services. People would dress up, and we had this tip and treat kind of event. And so I would go as the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, that is so funny.
And then in a couple of presentations for Family Day or whatnot, I would make connections to how what I'm doing now is kind of like being the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, tell me more.
So people will plan a trip to go visit Lady Liberty. People schedule appointments to come and visit me.
Yeah.
Instead of guiding ships, I guide students. So
I love that analogy.
There's some
oh my
connections.
gosh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So what was it about the Statue of Liberty, though, that you were so awestruck with
I
it?
don't know. Just the fact that you could go in and climb the stairs. So I've been 5 times.
Awesome.
And went up to the crown. I don't know what it was. I was just like, she's awesome.
That is so cool.
And so then in my office, I've had a Statue of Liberty collection on top of my bookcase.
Oh, fun.
And so when people go to New York, or if they go to Vegas and they go to New York or see something, they would typically bring me back a little something.
Fun.
So anything from a Happy Meal toy to an M&M Statue of Liberty dispenser.
Funny. So when you used to dress up for it as Halloween,
A sheet.
Did you tell everyone the backstory?
No, they just thought I was probably bordering on Statue of Liberty and a toga because it was a sheet.
So funny. That is so funny.
Yeah.
So what can we celebrate with you, McKenna, this week?
Well, tomorrow is the last day of finals. So it's the end of fall semester. And then last Saturday, we had another commencement. So celebrating all the graduates.
Yeah, and we saw our interns graduate. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yay. So we're going to go on a party bus, McKenna.
Oh,
and you can invite anyone, but they have to be alive. So unfortunately, you can just bring your little Statue of Liberty trinkets.
Okay.
Who would you invite?
When you say anyone, does that mean a singular person, or does it mean
anybody?
I can load the bus?
You load the bus.
Okay, so
we're partying today.
Okay, let's do it. So, we live in a really great neighborhood just outside of River Falls.
Sure.
And so we have found kind of our favorite people, And including the Pfeiffer family, there are 4 families, and we tend to have all kinds of adventures together.
And they live in your neighborhood?
Yeah. And so then it's so awesome.
Incredible is that?
Yeah. And so like we're all in the same season of life, all little kids. We're the kind of people that prioritize fun.
Oh,
and
I love it.
Just kind of let the kids run.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, we have so much fun together. And so on Saturday, one of our favorite kind of holiday traditions has become doing a progressive dinner.
Oh, we do that too. I love that.
It's going to be great. So
okay, but we need to have a famous person join us. We can have all your neighbors.
Okay, and then can Ellen have a seat on the bus too to
Yeah.
just keep the fun and the jokes?
For sure. I love it. I love it. So what was your first job ever that you were paid to do?
I think it was babysitting.
Okay.
For sure. There was a boy, his name's Matt, that lived 2 houses up, and so I was there all the time and did that for years and years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, you've been in the university setting or academia for a lot of your career. Walk us through your career journey and how did you get to your role today?
Sure. So I graduated from UW-Eau Claire. And then at the time...
What was your degree in?
Organizational communications.
Okay.
And I started wanting to do human resources, and I was in my first microeconomics class, and literally I would leave crying every day.
Seriously?
After we got through supply and demand and stuff started getting harder, I was like, oh my gosh, I do not get this. So I'm like, okay, P.S., we're not going to do well in accounting, finance, like not my wheelhouse. So changed my major to organizational communications, but then still kept the same dream alive of wanting to work in human resources in some capacity. And so when I graduated, I knew I either wanted to work in student affairs on a college campus or I wanted to work in human resources. And at the time, my resume was slightly more in favor of human resources. So, and I didn't feel the need to go on to grad school right away. I wanted to take a time out. So went and got a position as an HR assistant, which was perfect because then I was providing support to different departments. It's how I met my husband. Oh, the seriously? First day on the job, I was like, hi.
Oh my gosh. Was this a big company?
There were like 40 of us maybe. Oh. And so, oh my gosh. So that was so fun. And then after about 2 years or so, I was like, I think I'm ready to go back to school. And at the end of the day, I want to know that my work matters and is making a difference. And so I was really feeling the pull to get back into, student affairs. And then I knew that career services would be the area I would want to pursue. And so did an internship in career services the summer between my first and second year of grad school at UW River Falls. Randomly called and said, hey, would you have a need? Because I also like public.
You were proactive about it.
Yeah.
So you asked for the internship and you got the internship.
Yeah.
Good for you. Cheers to that.
Cheers. And I knew I wanted to be in a public higher ed institution, which is why I reached out to UW River Falls. Because I was living in St. Louis Park at the time. Got it. And then one thing led to another, and they can't get rid of me.
I love it.
It's so great. The students there are humble. They are so genuine. It's just a special place. And the size is perfect.
Don't tell me about it.
You literally can walk across campus even as a professional and see people and have genuine relationships.
Oh, yeah. So I started at the U of M for 2 years. I thought I was going to be a mechanical engineer. And when I sat around in these big auditoriums of the size of my high school graduating class, we're talking like 500 people in these auditoriums. And all I was taking was hard math, hard science classes, which I loved. I loved it. So that's why I thought, I'm good at it. I'll just be an engineer. The people that were around me just weren't my jam. And I didn't, the school ended up being too big for me. 2, I wasn't enjoying the people that I was supposed to be learning with. And so then I transferred to UW River Falls, and it was like a breath of fresh air for me because there's like 20 students in the class. Each professor knew my name. Even if I saw them on campus, they would say, "Hey, Renee," like so different. And that's what I needed. And I love the University of Minnesota, and I loved the campus that's in this big city and super vibrant and fun. But for me personally, I needed that one-on-one touch. And, you know, I'm glad I figured it out after 2 years. But I have such an affinity to River Falls. And the campus only keeps getting more beautiful every year. Like, I'm envious that I didn't have the student union that you guys have and the
for sure.
double lane highway and the roundabouts with the beautiful, you know, greenery and all that. So it's just...
Or the Falcon Center.
Right, yeah. It's just awesome.
So 2 weeks ago, we moved into our new space. So where you used to eat...
Yeah.
Cafeteria style in Bradley.
Yep.
That building on the outside, they kept it as is, but then they gutted the inside of the building and have repurposed it as a student success center. And
cool.
So 2 weeks ago, Career Services was the first office to move in.
Exciting.
Oh my gosh.
Were you guys still in the other building? Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's like ancient.
Totally. So we left the mice and the asbestos behind.
Oh, my gosh.
Just kidding. Kidding, not kidding. Right. And so now, I mean, we didn't move furniture. It's just, I mean, you walk in it and it has a new office smell.
I'll have to come see it. Oh, cheers to that. Awesome. So, McKenna, you got to get back to the How You Met Your Husband story at work.
Oh, sure.
And how you do that professionally and then get married and have children.
For sure. Well, and so what's even more special about the story is that he's an accounting. He has an accounting degree and a CPA. And so he had just left his public accounting career at McGladdery and took a position as a financial analyst.
Sure.
And knew it was not a long-term stint.
Sure.
And so then literally like a year later was on his way to a career in banking, which is what he's been doing ever since. And so both of us say that it was destiny that like brought us to that particular position so that we could meet and then go off and do what mattered.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. But how did you start dating while you worked at the same company?
Yeah, under the radar.
Oh, so you didn't let people know?
No.
And then who left
first?
Because
he did.
Oh, how long were you dating before you left the company?
Couple months.
Oh,
and it was super casual.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
And then once he left, then it started to get a little bit more serious, and so then
got it. So you guys kind of waited until he. Okay, got it. Love it.
Yeah.
So then you progressed from career counselor to assistant director of career services. What do you attribute your success to?
Passion. Bringing passion and enthusiasm to the work, I think, every single day. And working really hard, though, too, you know. And whenever there's an opportunity to take on something, to say yes.
Yeah.
And to just keep the work exciting and not just kind of, okay, well, you're the same thing. Like, let's try this. And so then through all those additional ideas.
Like never being complacent with status
quo. Totally.
Cool. And you work with students at all levels.
Yeah.
And all alumni. Generations. And sure. Alumni,
and alumni,
I went back.
For free.
Some know what they want. Some don't have any idea.
I would say most.
Don't have any idea?
I mean, they may have some thoughts, but there's also kind of a penciled in question mark behind that. Like,
sure.
I think this is what I want, but I could be persuaded into other things, if that makes sense.
What tips would you have for our listeners who aren't sure on where they want to take their career?
Yeah. Be open to trying new things, even if it's volunteering in the community. for an organization that you think you might have an interest in, to just kind of try it out. I'm a huge proponent for informational interviews.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my gosh, you can get that day in the life of, but I think our job in recommending who they meet with, we need to make sure that we're having them talk to people that actually like their job.
Absolutely.
Because I think for the undergrad students, if they are, I mean, that's really important for them, because if they sense any negativity early on, particularly education or like social work or some of those helping fields where I think they need to be meeting with somebody that's really passionate, because otherwise the student can be left going, oh, yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. We've had where we've been trying to find an individual to hire for one of our clients, and quickly realized after a few interviews, there was a curmudgeon interviewing. And I was like, we cannot have him. My recommendation is we need to exit him, because he is... anyone that meets with him, nobody wants to come back for a second round. And it's critical that the companies that are looking for those candidates have to be very selective in who is interviewing the candidates as well.
Totally. Now, for the listeners out there, also in that, I want to make sure you're not left saying, well, okay, put your champion forward, the person that isn't going to say one negative thing about a company. No, we just need to be realistic about how that information is delivered.
Absolutely.
So that people are hearing the true positives, and then maybe some food for thought or things that they should think about, but not in a way where it's so direct that they're like, not happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the resources for those individuals as well, you can go onto Glassdoor, you can go to their website, look at the videos, and you can Google and find out so much about these companies as well. Granted, you have to take some of it for a grain of salt, because the ones with more, like if you're looking at, say, for example, a finance company, majority of the people who go onto Glassdoor and complain are the highest volume of the staff, which is usually the customer service reps. So you just got to see who's making the recommendations and comments as well.
Totally.
So do you work with students on mindset? So I'm a huge growth mindset person. Ooh. And do you work with them on any areas where they need to break through? Or one thing I could see happening is just them having lack of confidence.
Oh, all the way around. I mean, you take any one of the topics a student could come in for, and absolutely that encouragement and helping them understand you can do this.
Right.
And perfection is not the name of the game.
No,
authenticity
never.
is.
I got counseling for perfection in college.
Right. So I think the more we can help them just settle into coaching them on what needs to be done.
Sure.
But how can then they execute that in a really authentic way that's true to them?
Sure.
In terms of mindset, one of the things that we see most frequently, I would say, in our office is that we have a lot of students coming to River Falls that maybe have wanted to be a vet.
Oh,
Since they were like this high and could walk. Or they have wanted to be a teacher since they had that meaningful and life-saving teacher in elementary school. But now, as they're getting into the classes and they're seeing what kind of path that is, or maybe they're in the classroom observing for the first time, to help them kind of think through, is this something you want to keep at, or is this the point at which you want to pivot? Because so much of their identity has been wrapped up in that.
Oh, right.
And then as you peel the layers of the onion back, is there going to be disappointment if I choose something else? Will my family be disappointed, or will I regret this 5 years down the road and say, oh, I wish I would have just stuck with it?
I didn't think about that, because I was never one of those people. I always wanted to try many things and do many things, but there were many people that I encountered at River Falls that did, that's what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. So how do you, that's a lot to unpeel.
And that's not a one appointment deal.
Right.
They're going to be joining our frequent flyer program and coming in for multiple appointments. But then we're also really big on referring. And so it's going to be having conversations with individuals in the field, but then also having conversations with the faculty so that they can really break down what those classes that are kind of coming up.
Sure.
Or how can we pivot where maybe you keep the same major, but we're thinking about it a little bit differently and coming up with alternatives where you're maybe still teaching, but you're not in the classroom.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, I love that.
Oh my gosh, so much.
Well, and I firmly believe everything happens for a reason. I changed my major 3 times, ended up with a sociology degree because I loved the classes. Yeah. And the counselor at UW said, well, if you have a biology major, you're most likely going to be working in a lab. I'm like, do you see that? No, I am social. I'm not working in a lab. No. I will kill myself if I am not around people and being able to be social. And it all ended up happening for a reason. It's so tied to what I do. I'm just fascinated with people, though. So I told the counselor at the time, I said, I just need the piece of paper. As long as it's not engineering or accounting, I can do whatever I want. And he looked at me sideways. And that's what I've done. So I firmly believe you need the piece of paper.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
then if you have the ambition, you can do whatever you want.
Absolutely. And finding that degree area that feels like your academic home, where you're motivated by the classes, you enjoy going to class, you enjoy what you're learning. But then, yes, 100%.
That was totally sociology for me because it didn't feel like I had to study, even though I was studying, just like my job now. I'm so passionate and love what I do, and I soar with my strengths. I don't feel like I work. Like I could work 24 hours a day if I had the time because I love it so much, and that's how I felt with sociology. And to find that is incredible.
For sure.
It is so incredible.
Yes.
Okay, so did you have something else to say?
So based on what we're talking about, let's say 6 years ago, my dates may be a little off, but we were seeing this as a theme where students were feeling like I need to pick the one right major that leads to the one right career.
Why do they?
And then it's a linear, like it's this completely linear process.
Right.
And
why
I'm
do they think? Is that coming from their parents?
Well, and society,
okay.
And I think there's a little bit about as tuition costs have risen.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm incurring debt.
Yeah, right.
This isn't just funsies.
Right.
Like I have to know at the end, what is this leading to?
Right.
And so the Career Trek program was born, which is one of my passion projects, but each month we pick a different organization we've gone to the metro, and then we've gone as far south as La Crosse.
Okay.
And then we've done Eau Claire as well. And so each month we go to a different organization. Students get a tour of that organization.
Awesome.
And then they get time and everybody's done this differently, but they get time with HR professionals to talk about applicant tracking systems, the application process in general, the interview process, what can they expect?
Yeah.
What do they need to be mindful of? What is the average applicant pool for an internship or a full-time job, just so that they have kind of a reality going into this.
How fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it's so great. They're some of our favorite days because then as staff in the office, we're going as well.
Yeah.
And so then it's great relationship development. So this spring, the two we're going to do would be Treasure Island Casino and Resort to see the
they've got they've got a whole operational back. They have a huge IT group. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Minnesota Department of Revenue
will
be another. And so then in those tours, and in those days, we're asking people to be intentional about telling their story. And so can you make it a point to weave in what was your degree?
Yeah.
And then what's been kind of your path, so that students are able to see, oh my gosh, there are 6 people in this department and all of them came at this position from completely different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
What a cool way to highlight, though, the employers and the employers to get their employment brand out there.
Absolutely.
To all these students. That's awesome on both sides.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's fun.
So, we've both spent time working with resumes. I even do resumes for a fee. I do career coaching as well for a fee. What are some common mistakes you see on resumes?
Oh, that's easy. That one size fits all, right? I only need one resume and I'm just going to mass produce that baby.
Yeah.
And not investing the time to really think about, what do you want to talk about in regards to each of your positions.
Right.
And in those initial drafts, a lot of them just read so flat. And they don't inspire me to want to keep going. It's like, wah, wah, wah.
Right.
Or one of the things I'll use in class presentations is, instead of thinking about it in terms of what % you spent your time doing at work. Mm-hmm. So if you're making food, because a lot of retail food service are a lot of common first jobs.
Sure.
But now you're applying for an internship that is not in the food service industry. They don't care.
Right.
That doesn't translate. Right. And so how can we emphasize those transferable skills to tell your story, instead of getting so hung up on the job duties that don't matter?
Yeah.
And unless you're in your lane, and then people will want to see that. But if you're kind of dabbling, you need to tell a different story.
Right. Exactly. I totally agree. What about, so these informational interviews, what are some tips that you can share on how to get one? Like, if you want to work for ABC company but don't have any connections there, what should I do?
LinkedIn is amazing.
It is.
Oh my gosh, I could spend half my day on there. We use it to help prospect and find new employers that we might want to partner with, or add to the career fair invite list, or the mock interview day database. And so it's a huge tool for us, but then for our students and our alums, well, anyone, to go in and be able to see the people that are doing the work that you potentially have an interest in, or are working at a company that you have an interest in. I think I wish LinkedIn existed back in 2003 when I needed it, but instead it was...
I know. I wish it was there when I started recruiting. We used to fax for resumes.
Oh my gosh, right. When you think about how things have changed, and really it is a short period of time, and how everything is just exploding. It's technology wise,
totally,
it's great. These tools are huge. But then for the alums that may be listening, to join the UW River Falls alumni group on LinkedIn, and then you can filter based on those that are alums, so you have that shared experience, so that it doesn't feel random. And those of you that aren't a River Falls alum, find your institution.
Yep. Totally true. Because we do a lot of recruiting, for various companies all across the nation. And if I reach out to a UW alum and I say, hey, we both came from the same alma mater, I always hear back from them. Always. So it's a great commonality, and people have that affinity to it. So
for sure. And then
definitely use that.
It doesn't feel random.
Right.
Then you have a shared conversation point.
And they're thrilled to chat with me.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Reminisce about the days
at
the Riv.
I know.
Or whatever your institution may be.
I love it. So what about interviewing? What are your favorite interview tips to give to people?
Can I tell a funny story?
Yes.
Okay.
I want all the funny stories.
So When I was interviewing for my first professional job at River Falls, so I was going from an intern to a full-time, knew everybody. They're day-long interviews. It started at 8.
That's rigorous.
It was done.
How many people did you have to meet with?
Oh my gosh, everybody. It felt like at the time. So every hour or so, it was a different group. There was lunch. There was a presentation. It was a lot. By 3:30, I was asleep on the couch at my apartment. But anyways, when I wanted it so bad. And so in the open forum, which is a spot where anybody from campus can come and ask you kind of any question. But our office team was sitting around the table as well. And somebody said, why River Falls? And I started crying, Renee. All the emotions just like took over. And I just needed to release my nerves. But at least it was that question, not like, tell me about yourself. Do I have to? Instead, it was, why River Falls? And so, because I love the students. And I was looking out and there was like 5 students in the room. And I just couldn't imagine working anywhere else. So my emotions got the best of me.
Oh my gosh.
And it was not like I thought I just lost it. I thought, well, and goodbye.
McKenna, how did you recover from that?
Well, we calmed down.
Yep.
And
what was their reaction?
Well, I had the nickname of office crier already. They just know I'm a sensitive individual, so I guess it wasn't that surprising, maybe. But I don't
you'd walk into your next interview and say, by the way, I'm a crier, so if I start crying, it's normal.
It's not you. It's just standard operating procedure. But I use that story. So I used to be so embarrassed by it, and I was like, please, nobody can know that this occurred.
Oh, I love this. This might be the best story we've had.
Well, so I use it, right? I use it to say, perfection is not what we're striving for.
Right.
Genuine authenticity. And although it may not have been a flawless delivery, nobody could question my passion.
Right.
And so,
and you got the job. You got the job, girl.
Hey!
Cheers to that.
Okay, so knowing that, even though we teach this stuff, nobody executes it flawlessly.
No.
But I think people commonly underestimate the power of research.
Oh.
And they're, at least with the student population that we're commonly serving, not that they're not doing it, but they're not using it in a way that always informs their answers.
Right.
And so that's something that we're always working on to elevate their preparedness.
Well, and I think people underestimate actually practicing and writing down your responses in those STAR format. The behavioral-based questions are so popular. And, committing those to memory and have the best ones that are highest in scope and complexity to highlight throughout the interview questions. I think that because it is not, I will say this to my grave, it is the person who interviews the best that gets the job at the end of the day. And that's the reality, So you've got to have you have to have all the skills and the personality to fit into that corporate culture, but you have to know how to interview and what information to share.
And I loved your point about practice out loud, because if everything was just internal,
right?
The first time you say it out loud and you hear those ums and ahs, this isn't what it sounded like, and so then it just adds another element of nerve. So always practicing out loud.
I agree.
So that you're used to hearing it differently every single time.
And I recommend to people to find someone who may intimidate you and practice with them face to face. Because you'll be nervous and then you'll be more confident after you get through all of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
We need to mirror that, like your seat feels like it's on fire.
Yep.
Like it's going to, we need an intimidation station.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my funniest interview story was, oh my God, it was awful. So I was interviewing at Medtronic and I wore a suit. And I don't know why, but I was so sweaty. I could feel it dripping down my back, dripping down my shirt. And I was wearing a white blouse and then a brown sport coat and skirt. And I was so focused on whether or not they could see me sweating that I I wasn't even in the room. I mean, sure. I was like, how is this happening right now? I did not get the job, but it was for the best. Okay. Because I ended up over at Target.
That's right. That's right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so networking tips. What are some quick tips that you can share?
Prioritize it. Make it a priority, and not always when you need something.
Right.
It's an ongoing, you're always doing it, and then you're always reciprocating too.
Right.
And not just contacting people when you need something.
Sure. So how can they start? Like for a person who isn't networking, they're kind of nervous, they don't know where to start. What type of action could they take to start with, McKenna?
LinkedIn and an informational interview. Easy steps. And
awesome.
Then continue that conversation. If you did an informational interview, continue that conversation through LinkedIn. What I appreciate is that after every conference or professional development or conversation, really, I'll go out and find those people on LinkedIn and then connect with them so that we don't just kind of after that conference lose track of each other. Right. And then make sure to just send routine thinking of you or happy holidays,
right.
Just those touch points throughout the year so that they know they remember you.
Right.
And they remember you for the right reasons.
Right. Great tips. So if you were able to sit down with your 20-year-old self, what would you say to her, McKenna?
Calm down, sister.
I love it.
You are going to be fine. Oh gosh, I was an anxious individual that had a little perfectionism in there. And I would look around and I would be like, everybody but McKenna has their business figured out.
Isn't that funny? And nobody does.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
But nobody talks about it.
They don't.
And so, again, now, fast forward in life, one thing I am committed to is always being real.
Oh, me
and
too.
Talking about that stuff to help others be like, oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all put on our socks the same way.
Totally.
We're all human.
Yeah. Calm down.
Right. I love it.
Would sum it up.
I love it. And
what would you say?
To myself?
To your 20-year-old self.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I got to think about when I was 20. I was in college, working full-time, going to college full-time. I would probably tell myself, you don't have to work full-time, take out more student loans, have more fun in college, because I didn't have that opportunity. I was trying to make the most money I could. So my job was in Minneapolis. I was commuting back and forth to River Falls. And granted, I did it all, but I would have taken the, study abroad. I would have met more friends in college.
Sure.
It was tough for me to work, but I had to pay for my own school. I didn't get a dime from anybody, except I did get a scholarship and stuff like that. But I had to pay for everything, and I didn't want to come out with loads of debt. Right. But working 40 hours and going to school full time is treacherous.
For sure.
So that's what I would say is take out the damn loans, have fun, be 20s, be 20 years old. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's what I would tell myself.
Nice.
Any last words for the job seekers out there?
Keep at it. Persistence.
Yeah.
Keep at it. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged.
Right.
And the more you can weave in personal interaction, the more response you're going to get, the more the more information you'll have that will allow you to pivot your application process or whatever it is that you need help with. But if all we're doing is sitting on Indeed and sending off all kinds of applications, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some frustration brewing.
Right. Right,
So,
exactly.
people. Bring in the people.
Yep, it's all about people.
It is.
I love it. You've been tremendous and
This
dropped
is
so many value bombs, McKenna.
Where I like that. Can I use that?
Yes.
That's a Reneeism.
Where can we find you? Where can people find you?
On LinkedIn. McKenna Pfeiffer.
You might want to spell that.
Oh, good call. McKenna, last name Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer. And then Google would be a great starting point too, because there's an About Us page on our website.
Oh, yeah.
And my email is listed, so reach out.
Awesome. I love it. And for all of you hiring leaders out there who want the secrets to finding the best talent, you can go to careersandcocktails.com to download your free hiring guide. And for the frustrated job seekers out there who need help, I wrote a book called I Hate Mondays, and you can go to the same website, careersandcocktails.com, to learn where to purchase your book.
It's good. I've read it.
She reviewed it for me. That was so wonderful. Yeah. So if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, click the bell, tell all your friends. And if you listen on iTunes, we'd love a review. See you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.